Usually they say before the bodies got cold, but in this situation, we didn't even know if there's a body. It was a couple of hours after the shooting, and Charlie wasn't confirmed dead, that CNN released a headline talking about, oh, this is like another school shooting. And then immediately, like, pivoting to the guns. And I remember watching Cristian Tudor Popescu, the smartest journalist that ever lived in my country, which is the very embodiment of Reddit, saying that, well, I mean, this is what you get. Like, this is a man that said guns are important. Doesn't matter if some people die. The Second Amendment is important, so I guess he died for what he lived. And so, you know, this actually does bring the question, which I believe should be addressed. If there were no guns in America, would Charlie Kirk be alive today? Because apparently, like, this is what the left is trying to push. And I, as a European, I actually want to analyze this as someone that comes from outside the system. You know, someone that has a broader view of the whole things. And so, let's say that you have this alternative universe where Charlie Kirk, instead of being born in the United States, he would have been born in Germany. And he would have had the exact same views, he would have supported the exact same things, but, you know, someone that's not American and comes from a world without guns. And so, let's imagine that there's an alternative universe where Charlie Kirk, instead of being American, he would be born as either a German or a British person. Right? So, like, in this alternative universe, he's got, like, the exact same opinions, the exact same takes, and the exact same tactics. He wants to move from college to college and debates with people. Debates with people about issues like transgenderism, debates with people about issues like maybe we should legalize guns, debates with people about free speech. Let's say he's actually extremely popular. Like, it's actually convincing, it works, he's swaying numbers. If he's a German citizen, like, he's bringing a lot of people to the AFD. If he's a British citizen, he's bringing a lot of people to Reform UK. Right, like, he's doing exactly what he did in America, but it's in Europe. And as you know, Europe doesn't have guns, right? So, would he be assassinated? I don't think so, right? Like, I don't think, like, anyone would have taken a shot at him. I saw people on Twitter saying that he could get stabbed. A lot more difficult to stab someone if they have security and they're in a crowd. It's not impossible, of course, but it is unlikely, okay? Like, in Europe, chances are overwhelmingly, like, he wouldn't be stabbed by some soy face, Antifa furry. Not impossible, but unlikely. Now, what would happen? What would happen if Charlie Kirk was in Europe? And my take is that, yes, he wouldn't get shot. Yes, he would be alive, but he would be imprisoned. Charlie Kirk would be placed behind bars in Europe. Because they would accuse him of hate speech. They would accuse him of pretty much everything. They accuse the AFD. They would Tommy Robinson him. Like we already see what's happening in Europe, right? Like, cancel culture in Europe can happen like what happened to Nigel Farage, where you get debanked and all of a sudden you can't have money to conduct your operations. Or the AFD was not allowed to find any hotel or any place to gather and have a conversation. That happened years ago. You get constantly harassed by Antifa, and you have the police not doing anything or turning a blind eye. And in the worst case, like, if you're actually getting popular, they throw the book at you. I mean, they did that to Marine Le Pen, right? Like, she got investigated. They don't have to investigate you for hate speech, or they don't have to investigate you for, like, something that you're doing politically. Maybe you didn't file some taxes correctly. Maybe you have, like, an issue of corruption. Maybe you did something, right? So, like, that's what happens in the golden Europe without guns. Like, they're more civilized. They don't shoot political opponents. They arrest them. And once they're arresting them, they're like, oh, so you're siding with the criminal. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Now, again, this is just my take. This is just my opinion. That's what I think. You know, probably I'm wrong. But what I do want to say is that I think America has a lot more freedom than the European Union and then the United Kingdom. And I think J.D. Vance, the Vice President of America, was absolutely correct when he came here and they said that the values aren't aligning. Now, is this because, like, people in America have guns, and is this why the government is more timid in trying to be as overt as you see in European Union, like trying to allow people to have free speech and allow people to have more rights? Maybe. I don't know. But what I do know is that I would rather live in a society with guns that has more freedoms than in a society without guns where I'm starting to get taxed 50%. And if I vote for someone, if I vote for a representative to try and change the system or to send the message that I'm displeased, then the elections get canceled. Right? And so, like, if we're talking about morality, if we're talking, oh, well, is it moral for Americans to have guns? I don't know. It depends what you value. Like, if you value the managerial state and safetyism and getting taxed to high heaven and not being able to protest in any meaningful way, then I guess, like, people will value the United Kingdom and the European Union. But, like, for people that actually value freedom, critical thinking, the ability of a man to change his own environment and raise his family in any way they want, I think the American system, of course, depending on which state, right? Because, like, America isn't the same everywhere. But, like, depending on which state, yeah, I think, like, this is why a lot of people that have startups and a lot of people that want to create businesses eventually leave the European Union and go into the United States. And I saw Carl, right, with the Lotus Eaters, like Sargon. A lot of his people went and lived in the United States, and one of them went to Poland. I mean, this is what you get, right? Depends what you value. Do you value liberty? Or do you value being managed? Do you value, like, a patriarchal figure looming over you? In Europe, it's not patriarchal. It's Ursula von der Leyen. Although, like, technically it's not her, right? It's the European Council. It's more like an oligarchy. Like, you get more patriarchal people looming over you, not just one. But yeah, anyway, like, from a political and from a moral standpoint, if we're talking about America's guns, I do believe that they have a society that allows more freedom than anywhere else on earth. And I know it's not perfect, and I know especially now, right? Like, that there's a lot of crackdowns on liberties, but compared to other nations on earth, compared to everything else you see, America is pretty good. And I don't know if the guns are the ones responsible, but I do know that when it comes to running a nation, a system, it's kind of like a house of cards. If you pull something from below, you may end up collapsing other things. So, as long as the system works and it's guaranteeing liberty, I would not fuck with the Constitution. With the core elements of that system, which number one is free speech and number two seems to be the guns. And of course, you know, a lot of people don't want to say it, but what if you could actually now talk to Charlie Kirk, right? Like, what if you would have some necromancers raising the spirit of Charlie Kirk to communicate with him? If you asked him, like, okay, so would you restrict guns now? Based on what I've seen and based on watching some of his videos after he passed away, I think he wouldn't. I think he would still insist that his wife and daughter are allowed to carry weapons if they choose. And so, no, I don't accept this argument from the left. It's like, oh, well, but what about the guns? Would he be alive? Yeah, he probably would, but you know what? Americans have a saying, liberty or death. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.